Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Adam J. Pestridge and welcome to another Flight Simulator P3D video. More importantly, welcome to Virtual Pilot Life.
Arrival west,
So what is Virtual Pilot Life? I'll get into that in a moment, but what are we doing in this video? Today we're going for the commercial pilot license. This is the third part of this license. The first part was to do with twin engine props. The second part was to do with an aircraft with 4 propeller engines. And now the final third part is to do with a jet engine. For the first time, we're going to be flying jet engines. Okay, so we have the choice to either use a Boeing jet or an Airbus jet. So we'll get into that later. But for anybody who's coming in brand new, it's like, what is Virtual Pilot Life? What's VPL? Okay, well, Virtual Pilot Life is a course, a program, an educational thing. You know, it's not a program to install, but it's like a course in giving you the required knowledge to fly in a flight simulator, to learn flight. It doesn't actually teach you real world. Like, you couldn't use this and then go fly a real plane. Okay, this is solely designed for flight simulation, which closely resembles real world tuition, with real world planes in a virtual environment. So it's a 3-phase setup. So first you would fucking hell, man, this is so it's a 3-phase setup. First there is ground school, then there is flight school, and then you go off and have a career, which is the third and final phase. I'm at the second phase myself. Ground school, you basically sign up. It's so easy. There's a link down in the description box below. You sign up, and first of every month registrations begin. You'll get your ground school pack, which you can complete within 1 day if you put your mind to it. It's literally, you could probably complete it within a few hours, to be fair. It's pretty simple. It's just really doing classwork type stuff. It gives you the knowledge basically of how to prepare, maintain, set up your PC for flight simulation. What are the best pieces to use? What's the best simulator for you? This course works with any X-Plane variation, any P3D variation, any FSX, and even the new Microsoft Flight Sim. Basically, it works with any simulator that has commercial airlines in it. And it's completely compatible with all of them. You don't have to install a program, because I can hear you going, oh, God, I need another program to install with my flight sim to enjoy it now. No. You don't need to install anything into your PC. This is a separate course that has more paperwork than an actual digital function. You can do it separately on another PC, your phone, a tablet, whatever you want. But sometimes you'll be required to watch videos alongside doing an exam or doing a lesson. But you don't have to have it on the same PC at all as your flight sim. In fact, it completely works independent of your flight sim. So that means it's compatible with them all. So basically, you go into ground school. Once you finish ground school, you'll then go into flight school. You'll register, and then the first of every month, registrations come in, the gates open, and you're in flight school. And then you have like 6 to 7 different licenses to obtain. Now, I've obtained my private pilot's license. I've obtained my instrument rating license, my cargo multi-engine license, and now we're working for the commercial pilot license. So what do we have to do to satisfy this license? Well, first off, we have to have a private pilot's license, a solar flight certificate, instrument rating license, and a multi-engine cargo transport certificate in order to even continue with this. There are some videos to watch and some homework to do, and then we can choose any twin engine propeller aircraft and 4 engine propeller aircraft in order to do the lessons. There's 10 kind of like exams in this course. Now, I've done the first 9, okay? The 10th one is the only one we're left to do today. Okay, so I've done all the others in part 1 and part 2 of this series. Go back and check them out if you're new. But number 10, take off and landing in a Boeing Airbus jet aircraft to receive the certificate is what I've got to do. Now, these advisories are only for the first 9 lessons. It doesn't apply to the 10th. So we don't even have to read this. That's cool. But once we do this, we'll head over. So that basically, once you complete all your exams, you head over to your check ride, which is exam 10, which is what we're on now, in order to pick up your certificate. So basically, once we do this, we've earned that certificate. So the way you track it basically is you'll have a flight log, and I've been writing mine out, but you can print them out if you want, typed already on the PC. You get digital versions of these to print out, and basically you type in when you've passed it. So for my commercial license here, the number 10 is now to do. I did all the other ones. It says here June and most recently August, which was a few days ago. But now we're going to do the final one. Once I finish this, there's one more license for me to complete, and then I can begin my career mode. So, and the career mode, you know, we'll go into in the future, but that's where the fun really begins, I feel. So anyway, what are we doing for our commercial pilot license? Well, we're taking off from Manchester and we're heading down to Birmingham, because Birmingham is my home airport, and I feel that this would be an easy flight for me. It doesn't actually state you have to go through many navigational points, or you have to go over a certain mileage in terms of your airport distance. It's literally, I mean, you could literally just take off, circle the airport, land again, and that would satisfy the license. The only thing you cannot do for this license is use automated equipment, such as any autopilot outside the sim help. So there are some programs you can use which help set up your plane for you and all that. That can't be done. Basically, what we will be doing is using the checklist for the Boeing 737. We're going with Boeing. So that's not the right one. The checklist for the Boeing 737. So we'll be using this, and yeah, we won't be using any software to help me set it up. We are allowed to use onboard navigation autopilots. That's fine. So we can use the FMC, we can use the manual navigation autopilot, or we can hand fly it if we really wanted to. That's totally up to us to decide. That's the good thing about this, really, is that it gives you a lot of choice in what you have to do for yourself. It doesn't say, right, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. There are elements of that, but a lot of the time it's left up to you to decide what is best as the pilot in command. That's what I like about this. It's very structured at points, but it's very flexible for the growth of your own, understanding, responsibility of your decisions. So today, Manchester Airport. So first off, we've got to do our paperwork. We've got to do our pre-flight preparations. So let's do that. In case anybody's wondering as well, this little thing here is my lapel. So I'm a cadet in training, so it's completely black. When I become a first officer, there'll be gold stripes on it. There'll be stars at some point. When I become captain, there'll be multiple stars and stripes, and it will progress as my career progresses. But I'm a cadet in training, so it's pure black, and I just put that there to showcase what it is. So we're going to take off from Manchester. Now, I don't actually know what runway we're going to be taking off from, and I probably won't know until I file a flight plan with ATC, or they'll tell me the airport that I'm taking off from. So really, to decide which way to go first, I don't actually know. What we're going to do is we're going to plan the route. So as you can see, I've already loaded it into SimBrief, departure and arrival, and it's given us this plan here from Manchester to Birmingham and then Heathrow as an alternate. So basically, we could take this initial flight and pop it in SkyVector just to see it visually. So that's the flight. Now, what I could do is I could alter this flight from there, and I could take us over here before coming down to extend the flight a little bit and see what sights there are. and then come down into Birmingham. So, I mean, we're going to take that route now, and we're going to paste that into here now and validate it, which it is. And that's now the new route. Now, usually I would honestly build it myself using the airways. So these are the airways, and you would follow the tracks of the airways if you're going above 18,000 feet, or use the lower ones if you were flying below 18,000 feet. But this is a exam, so we don't really need to follow these airways for this exam, because it's a training exam only. So kind of like a test flight, I suppose. So now we take this route here, which is a very basic route. We need to create the flight plan first. So so we take this and we save it first. We make sure things are filled out correctly, which they are, and we generate our flight package. Now with SimBrief, you can also use the downloader, which is a really handy tool because you can actually set paths for multiple planes, and with one click of a button, it exports the flight plan in the particular format that the flight plan needs to be in for the aircraft to every single aircraft in one click. That's super handy, because now I can actually do the Dash 8 if I wanted to, quality wings, any default, P3D or Airbus. It really gives me a lot of options. So I do actually like that feature of the downloader. We print off our report, which is this one here, and this one we can actually just get rid of. But more importantly, it will now show for our ATC program. So we can now import the flight plan, which will be here, the 11th, nope, not the 11th, the 8th of August, Manchester to Birmingham. There we go. And all I need to do is edit this route, because sometimes this Pro ATC likes to alter my route. So I want to put in the right route that I have put in. So load that into the flight plan. It then alters it to the format it needs to be in. We're only traveling at 8,000 feet, but we're not in the Fokker 50. We are in the, where is it? Boeing 737-900 series today, which is that one. We are flying the EasyJet livery. We will be taken off from the cargo center because we're not equipped to carry passengers. I don't know what runway or anything like that. We'll be using the actual time of day. And so I guess there we go. We recalculate the flight level and it's now 11,000 feet. So we save that. That's now ready to go. So this is what we need. Now we can come into Project Fly now, because this is actually going to track our landing. Again, we don't actually need to do a landing rating on this, but it's nice to know. And we need to dispatch this. So we go in, we get the file we need, which in this case is documents, files, and a case. Of course, it's the top one again. And it's the one with the exact same information as the one we chose with Pro ATC. So they'll both be tracking the same thing, which is exactly what we see here. Now we're going to minimize this window and let's get into the sim. So here we are at Manchester Airport, in fact, and this is the plane we have been given to fly. This is the EasyJet Virtual 737-900 series. So we've been basically been able to accrue this one for today's flight. Here at Manchester, it's pretty barren, to be fair. It's not many flights coming and going during this time, with COVID and everything. But yeah, and the weather is looking a little bit, we're going to need to get a weather report, to be fair. So generally the first thing that any pilot would have to do is some sort of, oh, hello, mate, you all right? How's it going? Didn't see you there then. You kind of scared me, mate. You all right? He's ready to load bags on, but mate, we're not loading bags on. This is a test for me, mate. So sorry, mate, no bags to load. Okay. As I was saying, pilots are getting on to do a flight, a a tour or a walk of the airplane is needed to make sure that everything is working. Okay, fsxliveries.com is, I guess, where I got the livery from. I don't remember, but yes, I think this is for FSX, the livery itself, but it works in PMDG P3D version 5, which is the simulator I'm using today. And I'm using the PMDG 737-900 series aircraft as my one, which is interesting because I don't believe EasyJet have the word EasyJet on here. I'm not sure, I could be wrong, but I believe they just put EasyY Jet on their, not the word easy, on their engines, but I could be wrong about that. So basically what a pilot would be looking for is he would be inspecting the fuselage, making sure that there's no rivets out of place or missing, that there's no scratches that are, you know, pretty crucial to the flight, making sure no cracked windows, just making sure that the integrity of the plane is fully intact, that there's nothing in those engines, you know, that there's no birds nesting, you know, suddenly or anything like that. Making sure basically this is a flyable plane. And although it's not a requirement of the commercial pilot license to do this, I just feel it's a bit of fun, to be honest. So that's why I'm doing it. I like the realism factor in my immersion. So now we're basically going to get on the plane to board it, basically. So we need to get up these steps here. So let's walk up. Looks like my instructor is already on board, even though I don't have an instructor. So right, let's walk up here. Let's get in the plane. Let's board. So here we are. We're inside the plane and we walk in the cockpit. Seamless. So cold and dark. We have to start up. So first things first, we need to get the fuel loaded. So I'm just playing with GSX for the fun of it, to be honest. So we're going to request the fuel trucks, to be fair. And while we do that, we need to get the ground power going. So let's start our checklists, which includes turning on that battery. So parking brake is set, check. Door is open because I just walked through it, and the gangway is there. We need the battery on and covered. So that's on and covered. The DC voltmeter selector turned to BAT, which it is, check. The DC voltmeter checked that 28 amps are fueling. Oops. They are. And then turn the AC voltmeter selector to standby power. Check. And disengage the master caution, which is there. Right, so after that, we need to turn our hydraulic pumps, make sure they're all turned off, which they are, and the fuel pumps are all off. We don't want anything pumping when they start pumping the fuel. And interior lights can go on, which we won't need. It's daylight. Cabin utility power, check that it's on, which it is, I believe. And now to the FMC. So make sure the ground connections. Now what I like to do is I like to have this one as the FMC and this one, which isn't on until the other one comes alive, as my FS actions, you know. So ground connections, we want to turn on the ground connections, remove the pit out covers, and we'll leave the chocks as they are. And then turn the ground power on. Ground power is now on. And that's when this next FMC should come alive, which we can now transfer the data from here into here. Boom, done. And then put this set to the FMC. And now I've got both of them going at the same time. The fuel should be fueling, which it is. And it's asking me to say how much fuel is going in. So on this menu here, we go to fuel. And to be honest, on my flight plan, we look at the fuel and it says block fuel 12691. So it's all in the wings, by the way. Obviously, we don't really need things, you know, if they're not. So that's that. Return. Which I've just done that, mate. Now payload, to be honest, it's going to be empty because it's just me on board. So it's really minimal weight. Back on to what my checklist says. Select payload, select fuel, and turn the circulating air to auto. It's still asking me to do that. It's already on auto, but it's still asking me to set the fuel, to be fair, even though I've already set it. And hopefully that will... There we go. It's loading 0 gallons. Well, I hope you load something, mate. So what we also need to put in is the extra stuff here. So takeoff fuel and that will be our extra fuels. So we need to sort of go through our checklist now. Packs set to auto. Which they're on. Autopilots, make sure that they are off and not running, which they're not set. And then put the speed brake, make sure that is down, which it is. And there are a couple of tests which we could do, but the main one is the engine test. So we need to hold button down. I believe this is it. Or no, is it that button there? That's the button, sorry. So we need to do a fire engine test. It does actually say cockpit voice recorder, but I don't think we need to do that. But what we do need to do is a fire engine test. So we need to do it for the left and the right, which is this button here, I believe. So that's the left. It doesn't say that there's a fault. And for the right, that's the test done. Right, so now we need to set our IRS. So we set them to nav. That's that. And then they'll start aligning. And with that happening, I mean, really, we should also do a test for this to make sure it works, which it does, and then set it to that. That's the appropriate way to do it. FMC, back to that. And now we can start entering in our reference stuff. So we're at Manchester, EGCC. And we can basically take that and put that there. And that is that. Check our route. Our origin is there. And EGCC to EGBB is the company route, which will get us there. So we save that and then activate it. In a second, just check that. Go back to the first page and activate it. And it should give us a readout of the flight plan here when this comes online. That's pretty much it for there. Then we would go to the departure and thingy. So, but first, before we do that, need to see, yes, they have. Right, so they've filled up the fuel. We need to set it to 121.70 first. There we go. I'll just turn that off for a moment till we're ready. Although we do need clearance first, so we need to ask for clearance to take off. Oh 05 right. 110 flight level. 3045. 1021. Okay. Squawking. 3054. Set the QNH. What is 1021 he said, didn't it? Okay. And we're going to runway 5 right. So I'm just going to put that heading in 050, just to remind me that that is. And he said that we're cleared to 11,000 feet. So I'm going to pop that just so I know. And that speed can go to 250, as that will be our, sorry, 250, 225. Because we have to stick to under 240 below a certain feet. So while that's working, we can go back to this and work out our departure, which these are this is the route for our departure, or at least we know the runway now, so it's 05 right. But do we know what actual departure we're going at? So looking at our flight plan, I'm going to say it's list 2R. Transition is none. Okay, that's that. Right, so fuel now. So we need to put in the fuel. I have a feeling we've underfueled this as well. So the block fuel is 12691. That's what I think we should have given our fuel guy. So I think we're going to need to order some more fuel. So let's get some more fueling going, because I have a feeling I put in the wrong one. So 12691 is what I believe we should have put in. 2691. So when he asks for it, we'll put it in, and then we can do the rest of that. That's our IRS thing aligned. Right, let's just continue with the rest of our thing, and we'll set up that afterwards when the fuel truck arrives. I'm sure he's on the way. So fuel pump, we need to turn it on after he fuels, but we can do nothing until then, really. We're really having to wait now. Where is he? Here he comes. Right, so he's going to pop the fuel in. And now we have to ask him to put that in. So total fuel going in. That's that. Waiting for him to tank it up. Right, so we can carry on with the rest of our checklist now. So, 0 fuel weight, there we go. Now reserves, we're going to put in, where is it? Extra, nope. No reserves. 3945. That's the reserves. 3945. Oh, hang on, this is tons, so sorry, that's 4. Cost of index, I don't actually know EasyJet's cost index, so we're going to say 25. Where altitude we're going to is 11,000 feet. 110. I think you have to put that in as 11,000. Crosswind, it tells us here, sorry, on Pro ATC, 140 at 5 knots. So 140 at 5 knots is our cruise and wind. That is that page. That is that page. So execute that. N1 limits are fine. So our takeoff now. Flaps. We're going to go with flaps 3, I think. Which is invalid, so we'll try 30. Which is invalid, so we'll try 25. There we go. And that gives us a trim of 319. It's 319. There we go, that'll do. And then we've got runway and crosswind. Well, let's say it's Runway 5. And the crosswind, we were told, is at 140. I don't ever know that, so I never fill it out. I don't know what to put there. The fuel is filled, so all doors can be closed, making sure that there's nothing left open. We can be sealed in the plane now. Payload is on. Right. Continuing with the ground checks. We can put our first pump on. APU, start that. APU is started. 2 generator switches turned on. APU bleed switch on, which I've never been able to find that. Or the engine bleed switch, or the APU bleed switch. Never been able to find that, but this is moving, so okay. Now that we're in the cockpit, let's turn on our position lights, which is already on, and get the logo on and the wheel well on. And now we can switch to the APU. We're on the APU, and now we can disconnect. And if I've set this up correctly, nothing should go off. It's gone off. It's gone off, but literally flipping these switches brings it back on. I don't know if that's something I haven't done correctly, or if that's a fault with the simulator, but I'm sure it's something to do with them bleed switches, but it's back to the way it was anyway, so it's all fine. I don't know. Disengage the auto master caution, which we did. Copy the flight plan and check it out, have a look at it, make sure it's correct, which we can do just by literally flicking to plan and going out a little bit. There's our flight plan. Looks legit. And we've squawked. Set pressure, which we've done. FMC, we can go to departure. We've set the departure. We've set the SID. We've set the transition. We can check the legs page to make sure there's no discontinuities. We're all set for our takeoff and all that. So we can go to the takeoff page now, which we've already set through all this, but we should be able to put our speeds in now, which we can. Enter flaps number, we've done that. Enter V speeds, we've just done that. And set the trim, which we've done. Disable the gangway, which we've done. We should be good to go. Get rid of them stairs. Them stairs need to go. So, oh, wheel chocks, that's what it was. Need to remove the wheel chocks, which I already thought I did. Removed. I thought oh, I've got to set the wheel chocks. That's what it was asking me. Okay. Well, we've requested boarding, fueling, so we're ready for pushback, to be fair. So no jetways. Let's ask for engine start. Request startup and pushback. That's what we want. Beautiful. So now we've got our startup approved. We can go and check that the generator bus switches are all on. Should we just give them a flick to make sure they are? The gangway will move away once we close the doors, which we already have. Check that the generator bus switch is on auto and it's covered. It's on auto and it's covered. Turn the anti-collision light on, which is that one. Turn the packs off, which is that one. Make sure the thrust is set to idle, which it is. And the fuel switches are cut off, which they are. And now we can ask for a pushback. So request for pushback. I mean, do we really need pushback, to be fair? Probably not. We could probably... Oh, no, we could. Yeah, we could. Because all these things, containers are in the way. Okay. Ignition switch set to the left or right on his command. Which it is already set to the left. Which is that one. And the left engine start switch set to ground. Which is this one. So he should be asking me. Yep. Push back, mate. Ready for it. Give it to me now. Hello? We're ready, mate. Okay. He's a little bit slow today. I still don't know why this isn't showing up here. How long does it take you to lock this gear, dude? He's operating a bit slow today. There we go. So we want to go back, and I say we want to go left. Nose left. Which is probably not right, but we're going to go with that. We need to remove the chocks. So, there we go. Okay, so we can start our engine. So that to the ground, which starts the engine. There it is. And then we can switch the left fuel control switch on when this gets to 25. (23, 4, 5) introduce the fuel. And then the left switch will go to continue. And then we switch it over to the right and do the same thing. (15). I mean, to be fair, we don't actually need to start that until we're taxiing. So we'll leave that one. Because that one, you wouldn't start the second one. I mean, it is already started, to be fair. Anyway. We'll do it now, but you would honestly wait. You wouldn't start it as well. So that's going. That can go to continue now. And we can put the AC voltmeter to generation 1 or 2. Set the parking brake set. APU can come off. And we're all good, yeah. Good engine start we have. It's all running fine. We need the APU bleed off. Again, don't know which switch that is. No one's ever helped me like with that either. I don't know. But we've got an alarm. Turn the packs on. What's the alarm? Something wrong with the electric system? I don't know. Turn them on. Generate switches on. Pit out heat switches. Probe. Engine anti-ice. We are in England. Window heat as required. We might as well. This is Britain. Yaw damper on. Flap set. Thank you very much for the pushback, mate. Set flaps to 30, which we won't need because we're not that, you know, on. Auto brake to RTO, which is that one. Pushback is ended. Yes. Taxi lights on. Runway turn off lights on and do a TCAS test. And if it fails, we're buggered. Let's get passed. Lovely. Right, let's request taxi to runway. And while we wait for that, we can do our taxi checklist, which is set the autopilot, which we've kind of already done. We did that as we went along. So flight directors on, auto throttle armed, indicated airspeed set, which we need to set again, 225. Heading was 050, which we can't set that until we get to the runway. And that's it, really. Spoilers armed. Armed spoilers. Right, let's go. Other things we need to put on are the runway lights, landing lights, taxi lights. I mean, this is when we actually get to the runway, actually, so maybe we turn them off because we're taxiing. But when we get to the runway, we're going to turn them on, turn the taxi lights off, and then turn the position lights to the strobe. And, I mean, transponder we wouldn't have put on just yet. I think I did turn it on, but that wouldn't have gone on just yet because we usually wait till we're at the runway. But we're all set. We're all ready here. Not too bad. Right. I might break this video up into a couple of parts if it's too long. Or I might just skip through the boring bits. Like just cover the startup, the takeoff, and then the landing. This is what passengers would see if we were carrying them. They would either see that or that, depending on how much they paid. Should be interesting. Manchester Airport. Been here many times to see the Concorde and watch the planes take off. They've got a nice little gift shop. In fact, I think that over there, this building here, is where the Concorde sits, which we might be able to see. Yeah, I think that's the building where the Concorde is. Dude, what's going off here? Mexican standoff or what? I hope he's not gonna... Yeah, detour, mate. Detour. I don't know what these... Oh, they're parked, they are. They're part of the scenery, sorry. I thought they were, like, AI, and I'm like... Well, they shouldn't have white liveries, like... But they're part of the scenery, so... Yes, and it's got a couple of planes here, actually. There is. Yep, there it is. The fuselage of a DC-10 there. It doesn't have the Nimrod here. That's at Cosford. But it does have that. The beginning of a DC-10, which you can go in and sit on. Where's our dude gone? There he is. And then over here, it's got a BA-146 as well. Behind. There's quite a few planes too. To be honest, Manchester Airport is a really nice airport to go and have a day trip at. Watch the planes take off and land. There's a nice restaurant there. There's a gift shop. There's the Concorde tour. It's quite it's like a little mini Cosford, you know. Right. If this is the runway, then we need to get permission to even go on it, but I don't think it is. 26 right? No. I think we're traveling to the other side. Don't think there's any planes taking off or landing. So we're good to go. So of course, naturally, we would already have the seatbelt signs, you know, chimed in. We would have already done an announcement. You know, we would have already placed an announcement. That's not a part of this license, but it is a part of the air transport license. Where is he? What is he stopping for? He likes to do this. He does the old man stop in the middle of a city centre where you walk and then suddenly stop and people bash into you from behind. Man, I'm seeing double here. I don't know about you guys, but I'm seeing double. So no airplanes again taking off or landing here as he brings us onto the runway. Right, so whilst we're heading out now, we're on the runway, so we can put runway lights on, taxi lights off. Runway turn off lights, leave them on. Landing lights on. Position strobe light on. And transponder on. And then position and hold on the runway. Where's our dude gone? I think he's buggered off. I think we've actually run him over, to be fair. He's done one. Look, he's down the bottom end of the runway. Right. I mean, why didn't we go... Isn't there a taxiway there? Sure there is. Slow down a bit. Open up the reversers to slow down. Close them. We need to turn around now. But yeah, there's a taxiway there. Oh, is that to taxi to turn around? Oh, that's the loop taxi, that is. That's actually what we need to do. Fuel. Why is there a fuel? Auto throttle. That's fine, mate. We have got enough fuel, though, haven't we? Yeah, we've got plenty of fuel. Nothing in the same center tank, though. It's all in the wings. Right, let's get permission to take off. Nope. Still can't get permission to take off. There you go, contact tower. Let's contact tower then. Let's get permission to take off. Cleared for takeoff. Right, ready for takeoff, parking brake. Thrust levers, set. Yoke, all that jazz, we're done. Let's go. Yoke forward. That's no yoke. Let's go. When I hear the 80 knots call out, I pull back on the yoke. And that's the way they do it. V1. Rotate? But what? That was a quick rotate, wasn't it? Right, rotate, we're in the air. Positive rate, gear up. Trim, gear, set. Autopilot. Flaps up. Autopilot in command on. My auto throttle's not armed. What's that all about? And, right, set VNav and LNav. Now the plane is doing the flying. We can now turn off the auto brake system. We can disarm our spoilers. Turn the landing lights off. Wheel well light off. 110 set. Window heats on and engine anti-ice on. Wing anti-ice on. And that's it, really. We don't really need to readjust the altimeter. We're under 18,000 feet the entire trip. Passing through the clouds. Look at that. Coming up to top of descent. We're rocketing. We are. Right, we're at top of descent. So this is our cruise. We just need to check our autopilot and check our FMC progress. And that's it, really. Center fuel tanks can come off. Because, to be honest, there's nothing in them. Oh, bit of low pressure there. That's what it was. That's why it didn't flick on all that, I bet. Emergency light should be on and armed. What's that all about? Fuel's fine. We've got 11 in the tank, so we shouldn't be going 272 though. I feel that that's a little bit too much fast, really, but so if we look at our flight plan now, the flight plan really just has a zigzagging like that until we come down there. So we're all good to go. And here we are. Beautiful Britain. Look at that. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh. Love flying over Britain. So gorgeous. Look at that. Gorgeous. We've got our weather radar on for any dangerous types of weather, but we're all right, like. So we're going up Listo now, and we're turning on Listo. Look at that. Just looks real down there. All this scenery that you're seeing is satellite data that I've downloaded. It's from the same source that Microsoft get theirs at, the Big Map data. And yeah, it's most likely what they'll use for the sim that's coming out in the next couple of days. But it looks gorgeous in P3D, I tell you. It does take a hit on the space, though, on how much it, space it needs. Altitude disable. Wow. We're all right. Okay, so now we need to start thinking about our approach, because our approach is going to be handled soon. And we need to input this in. We need to know what runway. Now, we're expected to land on runway 15 left. So ILS 15 is exactly what it would be. But we don't know the rest of the information. And I don't think we will learn it from here either. So looking at the flight plan, we're expected to be on the chase. So we could actually put that in now. So, but which chase is it? Because it doesn't actually say. Could be any one of these. But it'll be one of them. And as soon as we know, we can type it in and start our look for our approach. They'll be telling us basically within the next 5-10 minutes. So that's fine. So now it's just a case of monitoring the engine for the the performance, the fuels, make sure we don't run out of fuel, making sure it's sticking to the flight plan. That's basically it. There ain't much to do now. Here we go. Chase. Oh, which Chase, mate? He hadn't told us. I mean, each one is quite different. I mean, E. So I'm just going to say it's the E one, but there isn't an E one, so... Chase 3H, 4B, 3F, 3A, 2D, 1C. I'm going to say 1C. So there we go. That's now our input for our flight plan. So if we go to legs, we need to move that up there. Get rid of the discontinuity. So there we go. So 11,000 over crew onto the Honolulu to Chase, and then get rid of that. And there we go. Down. So that's now our flight plan. And how does it affect what it actually looks like? Here it is. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's just to lose the altitude, and that's the approach. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to go here, we're going to turn out, we're going to go quite far out, come back on ourselves. That's probably just losing that height though. And then come out here, turn around and ready to land. And then most of that is just probably to lose the height that we're at. So that's what they told us. So our descent and approach checklist is 30 miles nautical miles of top of descent, which is what we are now. We need to retrieve the METAR data for the airport. We also need to set our brakes, so we're going to set them auto, to be fair. Actually, we're going to set them to 1. We also, top of descent, need to set the autopilot for the altitude, which in our case will be about 7,000 probably. But we can always alter that if need be. And then the VNAV should descend us once, you know, descend to 6,000. Right, so descend to 6,000. So set that level change in, which means throttles will be pulled back for the descent. So we've done the arrivals page. It says here we need to also do the route page. Which is fine. The initial reference page for the flaps and the speed. It says copy the flap speed from 1 or 2 or 3 and paste into 4. Like that. We've got a descent now to 3,500 we can go. Right. 1021 is the QNH, which I think is what it's set. Yep, that's what it's set at. Speed we need to reduce down to 225. So we'll set that. Which I can't set. Our VNAV is off, so we should be. I should be able to set the speed, but I mean it is reducing anyway, so that's fine. ILS frequency set into nav 1 and 2, which the frequency is 110.10. So we need to set that into nav 1 and 2. which is 11020. Set that 11020. So that's set into nav 1 and 2. Runway heading is 150. We're still on our flight plan, that's fine. Speed brakes. So right now we should actually be above, like, pretty much like Birmingham Airport almost, you know. Not the actual, like, sorry, when I say we're above Birmingham Airport, we're above Birmingham City. But the airport's not too far away. In fact, our airport should be off this over here. If it were a clear day, we probably could see it better. Today, unfortunately, is not a clear day, so we just have to make the most of that one. Right, so now we're just keeping an eye out. So here, we're basically going down to 3,500 feet. We're at 7,000 at the moment. The airport is actually behind us. We're actually cruising out to come back to lose our speed. So we need to set the speed brakes to ident, which they are. They are armed. Green light says they are. Adjust the altimeter, which we've already done. Landing lights under 10,000, which we need to set. Runway turn off lights on. Spoilers armed, which they are. Turn our speed down to 205, I think. Slow down. And now we're just ready for our final approach. We're all set up, really. So we're coming up to 3,500 now. So we basically now need to turn around. So to be honest, this flight plan here, a little bit unnecessary for the fact that we have to go all the way out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to intercept it. So I'm actually going to turn us around and we're going to skip some of this. So we're going to go straight to crew. I've just gotten rid of that. Because it was really unnecessary to go out that far. So now we are turning back around to come in. Which means we can slow down to 210 now. And we're still a good like 20 miles to the runway. So we've still got a lot of time. But we are quite low. Runway's over there, I think. Or over here. Right, so we should sort of see the airport now. Is that it there? No. Possibly there. Not really sure. It literally, the runway is dead ahead. Like we are literally on track for the runway. Let's get permission to go straight to chase. So, direct to waypoint, or Cedar, sorry. 140. Right, so now we're basically going to take over the flight plan. We're actually controlling where we're going, and because Cedar, if we look at this here, Cedar is directly in front of our flight thing, so literally it's coming straight in, whereas the flight plan that we've got down here does a lot of unnecessary moving around. Like, it doesn't need to be doing the squiggledy stuff. We just need to come into land. So the runway is pretty much dead ahead. We're landing on runway 150, so it should be... We should actually start to see it soon. But flight plan, we can forget that now. We're not flying to that. We're just waiting for the clear to land. There's the runway right there. So, to be fair, I mean, I could put it back into LNAV, and it would now continue us on this course for the runway. And then when we're lined up with the runway, I can take back over again. The airport is about 20 miles out. And we're now about to hit the ILS glide slope angle. I think the airport's here. Or is it there? There's the airport there, isn't it? That's the airport. There's the runway. We're lining up now with it. Runway is about 15 miles... 12 miles out, I'd say. We should get a clear to land soon. We just... Yeah. I mean, we're waiting for that clear to land speech. So we can do the rest of our final approach now. So I'm going to do a stage of flaps. We need to slow our plane down. Go down to 200. Actually, we'll go down to 190. We're going to put gear down in a moment. Once we get that, the air, it's right in front of us, to be fair. So as soon as we got that clear to land, we're going to put the thingies down. Decision height. Here we go. We're lining up the runway now. I do need to start thinking about my V speed if we're going to use it. $2,500. Right, going down. We're landing. Another stage of flaps. Set our landing speed, which is 160, I think. Cleared for final approach. Gonna put the landing gear down. In fact, autopilot off. Right. Another stage of flaps. Autopilot is off. I'm in command. Auto throttle off. Bit of speed brake. Slow me right down. We're actually at the speed now. So we're going to dip down a little bit. Just lose some of this height because we're way too high. But just enough. So basically if I land this okay on the runway, then I've got my certificate. Wind's calm. We got a good approach. We're stable. We're a bit high. We're really high. So, but I feel we're okay. Final stage of flaps. We're coming in too high. I can't slow down anymore. But we're coming in very fast, I feel. But this is still doable. This is still fine. Bit of an overshoot. But we're down. Reverse throttle and auto the brakes. And there we go. We're off the runway. Get GSX out for us. And there we go. We need to kind of stop here now and wait for our ride to come get us. So hit the brakes. We should have our dude coming up in a minute. Is that him there? I think that's him there. He's waiting for us at the bottom like a... We need to start our APU. So APU started. And kill the autopilot. Right then, let's go get him. He's just standing there like a little bitch. Brakes off. I didn't even look at my vertical speed as to what it needed to be set at. I did set it, but I didn't look at it to check to see what it needed to be. I just kind of eyeballed it. So we did come in a little fast, I felt. We came in way too high. We needed to have lost height sooner, but the reason we were so high was because I was waiting for ATC to say come down, rather than descending myself. So I think if I hadn't listened to them, if I'd have just done it when I felt I needed to have done it, then I would have been on the bobby ball. So using that information, like that assessment of my honest flying, like I feel like I came in too fast, came in too high, you know, all that can be put to better use on my next flight. Now, there is nothing stopping me continuing. Like, I have now earned my commercial license, by the way, guys. I have earned it because I've landed the plane, and as long as we get back to the gate, no problems, we're fine. So I can now fly a Boeing 737 wherever I want. So in any flight I do. So in the next world tour flight, I could fly a Boeing 737 if I wanted to. I could really fly any single jet, twin engine, jet plane. Really, that's what this commercial license means. It approves me for really any flight. But if I want to do it towards my career, if I want to do it towards my cargo, so in other words, I could take a 737 cargo variety and ferry cargo around, I have to have cleared 25 hours in the said plane before any of those points and merits that I earn go towards my career. I need to be signed off to the plane, basically. And that means having so many hours within the plane. No planes coming. So, what else can we do here? Taxi lights can go off once we turn into our spot, which is somewhere around here, I imagine. I don't know what they got planned for me, but it's somewhere around here. Oh, I see you, Marshaller. I see you, Marshaller. Okay. We're coming in. Here we go. And we're set. There we go. Right, so taxi lights now can come off. We are done. Park and brake is set. APU switches. There we go. Basically, that's it now. We are done. That's it. Well, hey, and for that, we receive a certificate to say we are now a commercially qualified pilot. How's that? And I'm even going to put my name on it. This document certifies Adam Pestridge. That's me. Has successfully completed the commercial pilot check ride. He has met all examination standards and has been found to be properly qualified to exercise the privileges of a flight simulator commercial pilot. Yay! So that is basically that. This can now be put to bed. It wants me to open up the aft entry door. My gosh. But I've got no power, so I can't. So, I mean, we weren't having any, so I don't really know what. I'm off the plane. I'm out the plane because that door is open. That's all that needs to be open. So, GSX, you're just going to have to live with that, I'm afraid. There's no point in complaining. And the next license that we're going to be going for is the Airline Transport Pilot License. We completed this one on the date of the 8th of August, 2020. So there we go. Now, if I want to fly within my career mode as a cargo pilot, which I absolutely can do, I need 25 hours. Project Fly we need to complete. Sorry. Forgot about that. What was our land rating? 192. That would have actually satisfied if there was, because it would have been minus 200. So that would have actually satisfied that. So that's pretty cool. Yay me, got one. What's this here? Oh, Kent, you want to be my friend? Anyway, that is that. We're going to shut the simulator down. We got the flight plan all sorted now. And join me next time when we do the airline transport pilot's license. And if you want to do this and you want to sign up, there's a link down for the virtual pilot life. Head to the website, sign up on the website, and you will sign into ground school. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.